Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Watch the turmoil of this world, of all the activity of this world, of all beings involved in running around. Watch it, which means be the awareness and contemplate their return. They all return to the formless sooner or later. All the forms. Imagine you're seeing a movie. I love to see old movies, like movies made in the 30s or so, or 40s. And I love seeing, for example, you see street scenes, actual street scenes, big city, London, New York, whatever, people, hundreds of people running around going about their business. But this is what the turmoil of beings, as it's called here. You have to see it. And I see that in amazement, I watch that. This refers to watch, but contemplate their return. And when I watch that, I realize all these people, the actual street scenes, all these people are no longer there. They're all dead now. It was so important what they were doing, it looked so important. Running around, cars going. And if you had seen a speeded up version of the movie, if you see a speeded up version of anything, if you saw a speeded up version of this room, like you sometimes see how a flower, it's a wonderful image, if you see, they do it on film, how a plant comes suddenly out of the soil. And so they, over a period of a few hours or a few days, it's filmed. So you see that period in a few seconds contracted. So you see actually how the plant comes out of the soil. Then leaves come out of the plant. And a flower comes out. And suddenly you see the flower is wilting. The leaves are wilting and falling off. And then the entire plant goes. Gone. This is what it's talking about. You have to actually see. It's an amazing thing. When the touch will touch, to see that when you truly watch that, something inside you goes, you can't put it into words, it goes, wow. Because you realize that applies to everything in this world, is that way. It comes into being. Every body, I'm looking at my own body when I see it. It's just a slightly different version of that. It lasts a few years longer than the plant. But if you saw even the baby growing into an adult, maturity, vitally alive, physically active, and then gradually winding down, and then beginning to look like a wrinkled apple or pear, and then and suddenly the life force leaves, and then soon later all the molecules and atoms say goodbye, we're going our own way now, and there's nothing left, just an emptiness. If you saw this room and the people in this room, and let's see if we didn't move from this room and we had a camera here, you would see gradually the bodies dissolving or evaporating, whatever. It would go very quickly. I sometimes compare them to soap bubbles popping. So if you saw this, if we had this camera here over a period of, let's see, how long do you want to live? Another 50 years? Then the soap bubbles would pop one after another. Pop, 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 pop. Nothing left. And then for a little while longer, the physical forms would stay. And then you would say gradually even the physical forms crumbling. They could take 2,000 years or whatever, depending on atmospheric conditions. And even then the chairs become dust. So if everything is dissolving, birth, dissolution. Everything, every form, it's impermanent. And to watch, it's extremely powerful to watch that. This is why he's telling you, watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return, means be aware of the impermanence of all forms. Not as a negative thing, but simply as you see it for what it is. And if you are aware of the impermanence of all forms, that all forms are short-lived, how can you be aware of it? There must be something in you that is beyond that. It's only from, as I sometimes say, if the entire universe were blue, the color blue would not exist for you, because there would be nothing to differentiate it from. Then if we said everything is blue, you say, what are you talking about? There's blue, what's blue? If there's no other color. If everything were impermanent, you wouldn't even know it. But there is something in you that is beyond that. It's only from there. And that is why the contemplation of impermanence can put you in touch with that, because that in you, which is the consciousness, the timeless presence, the light of consciousness, is not touched by that. And then the question the mind asks is, well, but what about when I die, I lose consciousness? Or if a brick falls on my head, I lose consciousness. What about that? All it means is that consciousness can no longer flow through your brain into this world. It then has to withdraw and seek another channel. Consciousness is not affected. You cannot lose consciousness. Isn't that amazing? Why not? Because you are consciousness. It's the essence of who you are. So you can't lose yourself. Consciousness, you can also say life. You can call it life. You can call it Tao. It's the unmanifested, underlying the timeless essence of all life, that which animates all life forms for brief periods. Each form of brief period, you are that. You can't think about that. If you think about it, it doesn't make sense. But you have to sense that in yourself. Now, sense that. You can't know it as an object of knowledge. You can only know it as yourself, because it's the subject of all knowledge.